problem, right? Less platelets, you're going to tend to see that, right? Just like hemophilia, it's where easy bruising and bleeding kind of thing, right? These purplish patches on 4 spots. Okay, it depends on the size of these purple patches or spots, depending on what we call them. So if you think about, if you took like a needle and kind of poked it in somebody's skin here and there, and it had these tiny little little leads, those we would call petechiae, P-E-T-E-C-H-I-A-E or something like that, right? Those are what we call petechiae. If they're a little bit bigger splotches, as in more blood kind of popped, we call them purpura. Okay, so I don't know, maybe these bigger ones are purpura, maybe the tiny one's petechiae or something, right? So you look for petechiae purpura. And if you look at this overall thing, this overall clinical picture, how are you going to tell that this person might have leukemia instead of just being sick? Flu's going around right now, right? Hopefully not the coronavirus, but they're sick, right? And most of these things are actually going to be true with somebody with just the flu, right? If you think about this. What's different? You don't tend to see this. You don't tend to see the petechiae and purpura because, I mean, what are the odds somebody's got the flu and they have some kind of low platelet count at the same time, right? So this is the thing that makes it a little more suspicious of, maybe I should look for leukemia instead of just thinking this person that is just got the flu or something. Does that make sense? So again, there's always something. So if you think about, again, your case study suggesting leukemia is probably going to be, oh wow, he's sick, he's weak and tired, he's losing weight, he's doing all this, and oh, he has these tiny little petechiae or purpura on the skin. That's kind of weird, let's check that one out, right? And of course, your blood is going to come back completely not flu-like, right? You do that blood sample, you go, whoa, really high white blood cell count, low everything else, right? Does that make sense? Okay, anyway. So let's go specifically to ALL, acute lymphocytic leukemia. Cool? Is it about time to stop and make another one?
I already switched it.
Okay, you're cool then. We'll keep going. All right, so ALL, acute, as in fast, lymphocytic, we're on the lympho side, leukemia, or lymphoblastic leukemia, whichever way you want to say it. Okay? What do we need to know about that? What is important? You look at this slide and you tell me what the big things that stand out are. And I think there's another slide after this too. But what are the big things that stand out in ALL?
Children and B cells.
Children, actually the B cells, that's not that helpful, honestly, because most leukemias and lymphomas, for that matter, are B cell problems. But whatever. But children is kind of a big one on this. Okay, if you look at this, you will see that. Is it on the slide? Yeah. This one has a bimodal distribution, right? Where the most common populations to get it are children under 15 and adults over 50. When you're talking about any kind of cancer, adults over 50, not that big of a surprise. Okay, they're typically the biggest population of any kind of cancer. Children, though, that's the unusual one, right? So ALL, like I think it says up here, is the most common type of pediatric cancer, of any kind of cancer. Okay. I actually remember ALL. It's just a stupid thing in my head. Remember when we were talking about Downs? And Downs get leukemia, like a lot of people with Downs get leukemia. Okay. This is the one. Okay. If somebody with Down syndrome gets a leukemia, vast majority of the time it's ALL. Okay. So I got this thing in my head that I think all Downs kids have leukemia. And it's this stupid little saying in my head, but it kind of helps me remember. It's a horrible thing, actually, if you think about it, because obviously it's not true. But ALL, all Downs kids get leukemia, and it kind of throws that in there with my little memory networks I'm always talking about remember this and link it with something else. That's probably going to help, because honestly, if you have any kind of a case study, it's probably going to have something to do with a kid. That should immediately big red flag. Okay, am I talking about a kid with Down syndrome or just talking about a regular kid? In either case, and that should lead me to a kid real fast if you're thinking it's ALL. Or if you see your patient case study with a leukemia, you're probably thinking that's probably ALL. It might be something different, but let's go with the horse before we start looking for diseases, right? Okay, so those are some of the big things that you should hit on that. If you look at this 5-year survival rate, and even though these slides are the most recent we could get in 2019, a year ago, they're from all the way up to 2014. I don't know, these government SEER data things, it's always many years behind. Apparently it takes a long time to collate all that information. But either way, what you're seeing is a couple things. One, the 5-year survival rate is going up steadily forever, which is awesome. And also, notice this thing is at almost 70%, okay? Remember it's a bimodal distribution, right? Kids, older adults, okay? One of them is bringing this curve down, okay? One of those populations, their 5-year survival rate is like 95 and 98%. I mean, just ridiculously high. And the other one's kind of pulling it down. Which is which?
The older kind.
Huh? Yeah, it's the kids. The kids, so high, their 5-year survival rate for treatment with radiation and chemotherapy for ALL is almost everybody. To the point where I've actually seen social services come in and take a kid away from parents who their kid got diagnosed with ALL and they said, no, we're going to go with homeopathic treatment and things like that. And social services actually has come in and take those kids and giving them chemotherapy and radiation temporarily terminated parental rights because the evidence is that high, that kids almost always make it if they're treated. And obviously if they don't get treated, then they're not. So they've actually had legal precedence with that where you're simply not doing what's best for your kid. Having said that, if it is a religious issue, the state can't do anything about that because they can't override somebody's religion. Because of course, if you're talking religion, we're talking eternity. And if the kid dies, the kid dies. That's this much of eternity, right? So again, the state can't do anything about it. If they say it's religion, is why I'm not going to treat my kid. Anything short of that, though, they're going to take the kid and they're going to treat the kid. Yeah. If they can't afford to treat the kid, there are just a lot of programs that will help treat kids with cancer. That's like, you got to look around maybe, but hospitals are pretty aware of, all right, fine, you can't afford to treat the kid with chemo. Most people can't, to be honest, right? If they don't have insurance, then they will find some foundation that will pay for it. At least in the U.S. I mean, people give a lot of money to treating kids with cancer. It's one of those things where, as far as all the charities go, it's like way up here. Okay? And I guess worst case scenario, you get your kid taken away and the state will pay for it, right? That is literally the worst case scenario. All right, so anyway, moving on. Okay? So let's talk about acute lymphocytic leukemia. So we're still acute, but instead of, wait a minute, this is the same one. This is still ALL. Okay. Still, we're talking about ALL. Oh yeah, that's what this is. So this is your normal blood smear. You look at this thing, or bone marrow aspirate, I guess, the blood out of the bone marrow. Okay, and you're seeing basic, red blood cells. You see these big purple. These are just normal leukocytes, normal white blood cells, the big purple things. Okay. If you look at up close, obviously, we're not comparing apples to apples here, but if you look up really close on a bone marrow aspirate of somebody with ALL, you're seeing the red blood cells. They may look a little bit small and pale, kind of hard to say because you're not comparing apples to apples between these slides, but what you do see is you see a lot more of these inclusions, or not inclusions, but these vacuoles, this space in the cytoplasm. So you have these blast cells with this space. This is kind of a key phrase that they say a lot. Basophilic cytoplasm. Basophilic just means it's stained blue, which which would obviously stain blue. So basophilic cytoplasm with prominent vacuoles. Prominent is in a lot of space vacuoles, okay? Having said that, that may look a lot like some of these white blood cells. Where's one? Maybe this one right here, right? They're different. I mean, this one's staining red, that one's staining blue. But other than that, they kind of look alike, right? So anyway, that's one of the things that you probably will see with somebody with ALL, okay? Does it make sense? Again, it's such a big buzzword, you might actually get like a picture on an exam or something that'll show that slide. And you should be able to, just from that slide, identify that's ALL, with prominent vacuoles with the blast cells.
Were the vacuoles the
Space.
pockets? Okay.
Yeah, little pockets. It's just space.
Okay.
Okay? All right, and just to show you again, it kind of looks a little bit like this lymphocyte, but again, or not. Okay?